Here we are coming live, not live, but close to live, almost live from my basement. I'm Chris Atkins. This is Dave Scott.
Hey Chris, thanks for inviting me to your basement.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to my basement.
It's a great basement.
It is a great basement. We like
Perhaps
it.
we should maybe segue into something else besides basements.
Yes. This basement segment has been brought to you by Basements.
For all your construction needs.
Yes.
You know? And we do know some great construction people in the area. If they need any of that advice, they could always just
They could just sponsor
look
this
in the magazine.
We'll mention
the magazine.
You could be
and have
mentioned
some
in
fun
this
with it.
magazine if you like.
As you can see, we're
Aimlessly
endlessly rambling on about nothing, but we should get down to it. I want to thank you, first of all. Hub Media wouldn't be where it is today without you.
Oh, no. You were already doing stuff before I was even born.
I was just in my beginning stages of magazine life when you hopped on board. We had an opportunity to work in 2012, and it didn't pan out, which was very frustrating for me because I had saw your work. A mutual friend, Gary Hepburn, had introduced us.
Yeah.
I was blown away and impressed. The way you carry yourself and your product with the videos is unbelievable. And we kind of knew then, I thought anyway, maybe not you, but I thought, yeah, we're going to work together. I just don't know when and where.
Yeah, well, it was a tough thing to try and figure out how most of my work is usually outside of the country. Even though I live here in Norfolk, right here in Port Dover, I don't often do work around here. It's just the way it's been. There hasn't been that kind of an opportunity. But then when you came and were showing me what you're doing in the magazine, and you started sharing some of your ideas of how you could help expand the reach of what your magazine does for your sponsors, for people who buy ads, and how we could use video to enhance the magazine, I'm like, I think you're onto something.
And the other part is, you didn't give yourself enough credit when you travel overseas. Some of the work you've done has been incredible. Like I know that every time you get back, if you've been working in the Middle East, and you'll share with me some of the stories that go on. And like the one piece that just blew my mind is the day. I remember the story you told me you had filmed 7 women that had escaped from ISIS, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And that was like, and I remember you coming back, and then I remember you telling me, and I'm, this is a bit of a story, but Chris came back, and then 2 days later, you're at McDonald's with your kids.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation, and that's kind of the conversations we have. I'm like, wow, how does that affect you? I mean, you're seeing such poverty in some places, and just nasty stuff. And then 2 days later, you're in McDonald's with your daughters.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. It's a strange feeling to have been on the other side of the world and have seen people that are living in unspeakable conditions. And what these young ladies, they come from a group of people called Yazidis. And they're in Iraq, and they were basically, when ISIS took over Iraq, they, for the most part, killed all the men and then took all the women and made them sex slaves. And so I was able to interview several of these young ladies and girls that had been taken as sex slaves and eventually were rescued or escaped. But some of them had gone through, some of the girls had only been in it for a month or so, which, I mean, still, that's
way too long.
Yeah, and then there are some that had been in it for a couple of years, at least a couple of years, and they've seen their families killed in front of them. And then coming back, and you get off the plane, you come home, you watch Survivor, and the next morning you're at McDonald's for breakfast with your family, and it's just...
with your daughters.
Yeah, exactly. And it is kind of strange. I had a similar situation a few years before that where I was in Pakistan, and we're going around to some of these villages of really persecuted people who are living basically in garbage dumps. And then a few days later, I was in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And I mean, the culture shock.
Yeah.
It was really bizarre. So having a camera and traveling for work like that, it's kind of bizarre because I see the lowest of the low.
And the worst.
And I could be from a poverty-stricken village one day to the most luxurious hotel the next. And it's just I'm going to be going to Africa actually later this year. And it's going to be interesting to see how that is. I haven't been to Africa before, so I'm looking forward to that.
The travels, and I think that adds to your personality and the quality of your work too. I mean, you started out going to Siberia.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're filming reindeer. Sure, you were filming reindeer. Everybody knows.
I was. There were reindeer.
There were reindeer. I tell you, I swear.
We'll
But
put up a,
yeah, tell that
Joel
to
put
the,
up a picture of reindeer.
to the KGB or whatever when,
Well,
when you're asked to leave
actually,
the
if
country.
you reach down into that shelf right there, you can grab a new hat. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that. Comrade.
Yep. Yeah, I got this in Moscow, Red Square is what they sell the tours.
Put it on. I got to see it.
I shouldn't have brought
Yeah,
this
there you go. There it is. Yeah. Well,
Don't make
folks,
this the thumbnail,
No,
Joel.
this is not going to be the... But just your travels that way. And then you come back here.
Yeah.
Back to Norfolk County. And you hang out and play with me on these little projects. And we have some fun. And one thing I've always admired about you, too, when we do a lot of work with like Dover Apothecary,
Yep.
a monthly segment.
Mike and Barb.
Mike and Barb are awesome. And that advice just goes out into the public through our social medias. And people just latch onto it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to be able to provide that opportunity to educate people on health concerns. And Mike and Barb do a great job.
They do. You know what? I think there's a lot of value for the viewers watching those segments because Mike and Barb give such good advice. And I love this platform where I think when we initially started, we were going to try and fit their advice into 1 or 2 minutes.
That didn't work.
And it didn't work. Try to get Mike to talk for less than 7. Just kidding, Mike.
And you got to educate people, though. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. You can't give them half a story and walk away.
No, and so that's the beauty of this format is these segments can be as long or as short as they need to be.
Right.
So if you have a little bit to say and you're just spinning your wheels by trying to fill more time, you don't do that. You say what needs to be said. You can build the context of what it is that and we've seen it because we've seen the numbers grow, and you have seen, I think, especially with when you did your talk with Lyme, how many people were positively affected.
15,000 views on that one.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can take the time to say what needs to be said.
Right. Exactly.
And the viewer can watch it as they have the time and the ability on their phone or wherever.
And we've been doing this since basically 2015,
Yeah.
which is kind of neat that we've been into this 5 years already.
5 years.
And I don't think we've had one argument. Wow. But anyway, that's besides the point. But we did Canadian Tire. We did work with a number of local companies, which is awesome. And you're able to help enforce their product locally and get it out to the public, which I think is important.
Yeah.
I think you need to recognize the value of having someone local on the screen.
Well, you know what? When I was in high school, I'm not saying how long ago. When I was in high school, there was always this sense that you had to get out of Norfolk. If you wanted to be something or do something, you had to move to a big company in a big city, and that was the only way to be successful and get your message out there. But then I noticed maybe about 10 years or so ago, all of a sudden, a lot of these guys that I went to school with, I see everyone's moving back.
Yeah.
And people were wanting to move back to Norfolk. They wanted the smaller community, better for family, different pace. But they want to bring, some of the benefits that you had of the big city, like with the big box stores and stuff like that. But people, for the most part, in Norfolk, tend to drive out of Norfolk to do their shopping, to get things done, not realizing that a lot of the services that they're leaving the area for are right here. Yeah. And I think that's when you and I first met, we started talking, we started realizing, wow, everything that I normally go to the city for is right around the corner. And a lot of times better quality. And so that was one of our motivations for trying to bring awareness to what is here in Norfolk, Haldimand, and Oxford County.
One of the proudest moments working with you was when we did the Tri-County video.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that one was shown at the Strand on the big screen. And I remember we had we had a quiet opening for that.
Yeah.
And we all sat in there and watched it. And I was just blown away by your work. A lot of that was drone work that time. But it just showed the beauty of where we live.
Yeah.
Like you really captured that. And I thought when people saw that video, there was pride. It was pride in where you lived.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because it was a way to show where we live in a way that most people don't normally look at it. Well, first of all, we were up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, catching those sunlight shots.
Yeah, if you want to get those...
Kigo with Ross. On his board.
Yeah, he's paddleboarding out there and we're buzzing around. But if you want the best shots, you got to go around sunrise. So.
I think I had the hardest job that day. Keep an eye on the drone.
And getting coffee.
Yeah, getting coffee. Don't lose the drone, Dave. Where is it, Dave?
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun, and that was one of the projects. I think that was 3 or 4 years ago. And now it's Morris Insurance. We should probably correct that.
Yes.
But it's great to see when you have that opportunity and you get to share it with the community. And obviously the video work continued on. We did lots of events. One of the other ones I want to talk to you about, in the last 2 years, I really felt like we've had this tremendous growth. I think
Yeah.
all our videos combined were like close to 200,000 views,
Wow.
which is incredible. And that's just using local content. That's
Yeah.
Norfolk County,
Yeah.
folks. One of the ones was we helped the ladies with Folk and Vote, and we got
Yes,
to do
yeah.
that. And remember the young guy you had at the time, Joel, who helped me? Whatever happened to him?
Well, yeah, he's sitting behind the camera right
Seemed
now.
really good,
So
right? But he did an awesome job
He
because
did,
you're in
yeah.
Israel,
Yep.
and we're doing we're trying to do all that stuff.
We
and
do
that's
local stuff internationally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a broad base.
Yes.
But the appeal,
Yeah.
the numbers that you and I saw,
Yeah.
were incredible.
I
for
think
that.
I think one of the debates, I think there was around 75,000 views
That
or
was
something
that
like
was
that.
like I think the end one. I think near the when we did the last
Yeah,
live
okay.
show when
Yeah.
when I was gracious enough to be the host.
You
Joel,
did
why
a
are you
good job.
laughing, Joel?
I was out of the country. I couldn't stop.
That's right. He kept telling us what not to do, but it was okay. It worked out. But
That was kind of funny. I mean, just the ability we have with the technology now.
Yeah.
I was in Israel in the middle of the night watching the live feed and texting Joel and Dave, like, what are you doing? Do this, and make sure you get a shot of that. And it looks great, guys. And so I felt like I was kind of sort of directing
Right.
from the other side of the world. But that's the kind of stuff that we can do.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and I think what we learned on that whole stage when we did that was
Mm-hmm.
the amount of people. Like, realistically, we were the first to have the content out
Yep.
on our local Norfolk election.
Yeah.
We were right there on site.
Yeah, right live.
Joel was feeding that live stream.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to have that opportunity to share with Norfolk County. And that was a big election.
It was.
And I think social media played a big part of
It
that,
did,
and people
yeah.
didn't really realize it till the election was done.
Yeah.
And it showed that we're growing as a community
Yeah.
in that aspect. Because you and I looked at those numbers and went, "This is
Yeah.
something that we need to keep working on building."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you get looking around in our area and you start to see how doing, say, live streaming, multi-camera live stream thing could benefit some other businesses. And so that's been kind of the trick for us, is realizing, okay, what is it that we can do? What can we offer? And who can benefit from it? And then how do we let them know that
Yeah.
this is available to them, right? So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I would like to do a conference, there's a number of things that you could do.
Charity video.
Charity videos.
There's lots of great things that we can do. We did a number of charity videos. We forgot Leon's because
Yes.
Brad was great to us. We
Yeah.
did a lot of work with him as well.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a
we
fun
brought
guy.
charities into the Leon store,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Sat them down and they sort of were able to talk about what they were doing. And I think that's another critical
Mm-hmm.
component. You want to share. And everybody needs volunteers and everybody needs to know what the charities are doing so they can support them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's I forgot about that. There was a lot of we had a lot of good times there too. And
Yeah.
and that's one thing that people don't get is we have a lot of laughs, right? In between, when we're shooting, and Chris will keep me in line, I'm sure.
I try.
And we poke fun at each other. It's lively and it's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Which kind of leads us to our Christmas video.
Yeah, the Christmas video. That was a lot of fun. Dean Rainey from Rainey Media, he joined us on that
Yeah,
one
it was cool having Dean in there.
it was nice. It was nice having the three medias, One Media, Hub Media, and Rainey Media, and we all got together. And that was your concept. That was your idea to
But you
do
guys brought
something.
it to life.
Yeah, but that's where having multiple heads.
Yeah, work well. And I think the businesses in Port Dover and Simcoe and Waterford that got involved, it was really cool to have it. It made it feel like Christmas.
Yeah, it did.
It really brought it out, and I was really impressed with when you showed me when you sent me the file, the first one, and I just sat there and laughed. I thought, wow, we nailed it. That was out of the park.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're-
And it proved by the views.
What, 32? Over
33,000 views.
33,000 views. And how many homes did you say are in Norfolk?
Well, there's there's 64,000 people. I think there's 28,000 homes.
Wow.
So yeah, we were nailing it, and
Yeah.
but it was fun and it had a message.
Yeah.
And I think that was the important part that we talked about when we were in development with this is we wanted everybody to feel like Christmas, but we also wanted to recognize that you can shop locally.
Yeah.
And that you can give back by helping your caring cupboards, right?
I was pretty happy when you told me that the Cottage Soap Works.
Yep.
And in their section of the video, when she mentions the beard oil,
Yeah,
and it was
and it
like
was
2 days after the video aired,
out.
and you texted me and said they sold out of the beard oil. Like, Wow, like that's who would have thought of like, oh, I'm gonna go to Port Dover to buy beard oil, and all of a sudden now, that's
But that
just
was
really
another
cool.
indication, wasn't it, that social media
It
on these
works.
platforms, when you have a business or a charity or a conference,
Yeah,
we can help you with this stuff.
yeah,
And we have fun doing it, and we have great crews. Like we always make sure that we have fun. And
yeah,
one thing again, folks, like Joel and Chris are the same way. They're perfectionists, so you're going to look great, and it's going to be a great show.
we try. We're not miracle workers, so
Well, you
we
are.
can't make
Look.
everyone. Yeah, we can't make everyone look
But
like a
yeah,
movie star, but we
thanks
try.
for softening that lens, Joel. By the way, one of the other thing I don't think we touched base on, roughly in the last 2 years, the videos that you and I have done together, and that's just for the Hub Media,
Yeah.
outside of what you're doing as well. 200,000 views roughly, right in that area. Like,
That's amazing.
so again, folks, educate yourself on how your business can benefit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely. There's a huge benefit. First of all, if you have the greatest product or the greatest service in the world, but nobody knows you exist,
Yeah.
what's the
what could I
point?
say? Yeah.
Right? So you can take advantage of these tools that we have today. There's lots of stuff, and that's where if you're not sure of how to go about getting your product or service out there, then talk to us.
Yeah.
Let us know. We can come up with different concepts, different ways to get it out there, because you can't use the same formula for each business or each product.
Right.
Everything needs to be tailored to you. It needs to be designed for you. And so that's why it's important to talk to us, because maybe what worked for Cottage Soapworks or the Urban Parisian, that might not work for you. So we need to take a look. Who are you trying to reach? How do we get there?
And what's your goal, right?
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. And I think too, we didn't even bring up, because the fun part about that video was we did a behind the scenes, and you
Yeah.
released that as well. Thanks for that line. That was never mind. Don't look at that video. Anyway,
Go to the video now.
Yeah.
Actually, I think
Yeah.
if you click,
I'm sure it's probably
you
Joel's
click
probably going to
here-
put it right across here, and
yeah, Joel will put
Thanks,
there should
Joel.
be a click there maybe, or maybe the click is.
But the idea was just to show people what goes into making a video.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really important component to show
Yeah.
to people, because it's not like
It's not
it was a 5.5 minute video.
Yeah.
We shot for a day and a half, 2 days almost.
Yeah.
And then you and Joel and Dean probably edited for another couple of days.
At least a couple of days of editing to put that together. Yeah.
But it was so polished.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted people to. I was always amazed at the feedback we got was like, wow, that's so professional, so well done. And that's that's
Yeah.
everything you do.
Yeah.
That's kind of who you are.
Well, you know what? It's with social media, you've got kind of this sliding scale of where things can be, and so sometimes it's frustrating for me when, say, we do just a real fast video where we're not paying attention to lighting, because the goal is to get something out quickly, right? So sometimes we show up and we've got 10 minutes to shoot something, so we don't pay attention to lighting. And for social media, you don't always want that high polished look, but when people start to think, oh, Chris just does and Dave just does this level of video,
no.
we could do videos, quick, down and dirty for social media, or we can do high polished 4K stuff for the theater, and we've done that. We've done all of those
Theater
things.
pieces.
So it's really
Well, for TV.
yeah,
for
and that's
all those-
why that when a few times when I've been asked to speak at schools, like Mohawk College has brought me in a couple of
Oh, not
times.
kindergarten.
Well, I do the finger painting. I always have somebody ask, what's the best camera, or what's the best style of video, right? And a carpenter doesn't carry only a hammer, right? You have to have the right tool for the right job, and doing video is the same thing. A video for your business is a tool for your business, for your organization, for your message, whatever it is that you're doing. It's a tool, and you need to know how to use that tool, how to make it most effective. That's why when people ask me how much does it cost to make a 30-second commercial, what do you want in it? Like, do we need to get Matthew McConaughey? Is this going to cost more? Do we need to rent helicopters and special effects, or is it just you standing in front of the camera and talking for 30 seconds? It's a different thing, but you have to know what is it that you want to do, what do you want to accomplish with this, and then we can help design and figure out the right tools for the right job, so that you're not wasting money, you're not wasting time, or you're not putting in too little effort. What do you need to do?
And the one thing I always admired too is when we do a product, let's say we do a video and it's maybe, like you said, maybe it's from Mike 2 years ago online. it comes back.
It does, yeah.
And it's reusable. That's a tool that you can keep using. And
Yeah.
I don't think enough people realize that. I think they use it once.
Yeah.
They set it aside. No, put it out in another month or two, because again, you're hitting a totally different audience.
Yeah.
And it depends on what platform you're using. There's so many different versions of social media now that you can use.
Yeah.
You need to get it on as many as you can. And that leads to business.
It does.
I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here today if we didn't think it didn't work.
No.
Because look how far it's brought us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what we've been able to do with it in just the form of hub media, which is important.
Yeah.
Quick question, where do you see it all going?
I really see this expanding. I think businesses locally are starting to see the value in social media and creating videos for YouTube, and I think they're also seeing that it doesn't have to cost a fortune. I think there are a lot of opportunities from joining you and I on podcasts like this
Yep.
to doing your own podcast. We can help you set up your own podcast, from your place of business or wherever. We're looking at possibly getting some space where we could set up a kind of a studio situation, so that if there's enough interest, we'll get into this and we can provide a space for you to have your own set or whatever it is, right? But I really see this trend of using videos to market your businesses locally. Which most people, when you thought video for my business, you're thinking, oh, this has got to be on TV. This is going to cost a fortune. I got to get it into Toronto or into Hamilton and put on CHCH or whatever it is. And now you can be your own broadcaster. You post it on Facebook, post it on your own YouTube channel, all stuff that we can help you set up and design.
Yeah.
There's lots of
and I think
opportunities.
that's the big part. I think people, with the magazine, which is, a great product and lots of advertisers, people still want to feel in touch. But at the same time, you need to recognize the value of other forms.
Yeah.
And you want to cross over so that you're getting multiple audiences on different levels.
Yeah.
This might appeal to maybe an older generation.
They can't see it, I have to hold it up.
Yeah, but maybe an older generation, but you want to look at how many different areas you can bring in to understand your product and what the information is you want to give out. And I found that is a huge component of it. And it's funny, because we did, one more thing on the Christmas video was so funny because people would recognize us.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hilarious that people were and the big
I got
smile
stopped
you'd get, eh?
Yep. Joel got stopped at the movie theater. The guy at the movie theater recognized you from the video. Yeah.
But I mean one of the things when I did a grocery store and a lady starts walking towards me that I knew, and she's got this big smile, and that was all. It pretty much said it.
Yeah.
She said, "I just love that. It just made my day." And that's kind of what the product's about, right?
Yeah.
We had her attention, she enjoyed it, and we provided information about her community,
Exactly.
which was the critical component.
Yeah, and I think what you really have going for you is the video certainly is a big component and a growing upcoming component for highlighting what's happening locally. But you also have the hard copy, the magazine,
for sure.
which you could pick this up pretty much
Anywhere. Tim Hortons all over Brant, Norfolk,
Yep.
Haldeman,
And
Oxford counties.
Look for this, and you've got inspiring stories. Oh, I just opened right up to page with Barb, giving more health advice.
More advice.
But this magazine,
Yeah, sure.
so for a business that's looking to hit multiple layers, if they're trying to hit different categories of people, you've got the videos, you've got social media, and you've got the hard copy with good local stories, and there's more stuff happening.
Yeah.
There's some exciting things that are coming up with the hub too.
And we'd be remiss not to talk about audio podcasts as well.
Yes.
Because that's
Yeah.
one of the other components we've worked in the last few years. And when we were doing the pre-election stuff, before the election video stuff, we were interviewing counselors and future mayors.
Yeah.
And the numbers just blew up.
Yeah.
And it's another way of doing business, which is, obviously maybe you're not comfortable on camera.
Yeah.
And a sit-down audio interview with great mics works out just as well. You're not going to get the level, but you are going to get your product out. And they can be pretty long. I mean, some of the audio podcasts we've done are like 2 hours long, which are great shows. Tons of questions answered.
Yeah.
And we saw that leading into the election.
Yeah.
And the feedback blew me away. Like one podcast had 1,000 downloads. Like,
That's great.
Where does that happen, right?
Yeah.
But people want that information. That's one thing, eh? People crave content, good content.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The things that we could do, say with this video form of the podcasts, we will also take the audio from this and put that into the audio podcast. So you're really getting both, right? So if you prefer to just be invisible and only heard and not seen, that's definitely an option. But why not have both?
Yeah, the best of all worlds,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's give out the information. Your email, my email. Let's get some information out here.
Well, so if you're looking for video production, now Dave and I work together. Anything that I do locally, it's I think almost always you and I working together. But you can see my website, my email is chris, at onemedia.ca, which there'll be a link below in the description, and my website, onemedia.ca or chrisatkins.ca. And your contact?
Hubmedia.info is the website. Check it out. We have lots of podcasts, our latest edition, some of our videos up there. Editor@hubmedia.info is my email address. Or call me, 519-429-2567. Chris and I would love to get together with you and talk about maybe what we can do to help your business or your charity or your organization. It's a growing component, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And like I said before, you always use high-end stuff. You're the best at what you do locally. I don't think.
Don't judge it by this video. We're just doing this in my basement.
This is just for fun. Yeah, this is. The basement. But again, if you need a basement done, and we got to thank Joel for shooting this today, helping us out for sure. But that kind of wraps it up what we've done, folks, in the last 5-6 years and where we've come from. I know a lot of it was about Chris, but he's the star.
Wow.
But
it is my basement.
Let's do this again next month.
Okay, yeah, do this next month. And you know what? Hit that subscribe button and click on the little bell for notifications. And every time we release a video, you'll be notified. And the more subscribers we get, it helps all the businesses that we are going to be highlighting. So subscribe, tell your friends and your neighbors and your children and your dogs and your cats to subscribe.
Yeah, because cats like videos.
They do, yeah.
All right. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Dave.